Oh, jeez.
I am gonna shove my fist right into your ass, hard and fast. Not in a sexual way, in a I am pissed off at you way.
You can hear him, right?
I go out and bang a lot of whores.
Yeah.
I dropped my monster condom that I used for my magnum dong.
Oh, what could have been.
Detective Pikachu is the story of Pikachu, and he's a detective. That's pretty much it. But look how cute!
Detective Pikachu is exactly what you think it is if you've seen the trailers. It's cute. The Pokemon look good and the world they've made is interesting. But that's about it. I really struggle with the question of who this film was for. If you're an old school Pokemon fan who love the anime and the video games, you're probably going to be let down because this movie isn't that at all. There aren't that many Pokemon battles. You're not going to get a lot of moments of catching or training Pokemon or anything like that. If you're a kid, obviously, like the rest of us, you're going to find the Pokemon adorable and cute. But I think the plot might bore them a little bit. And I'm not sure about some of the lines Pikachu says. They sound more like outtakes from Deadpool than something that belongs in this movie. I don't think this is as much of a kids' film as you might think. There's at least one image in this that is going to give kids nightmares, I think. In fact, I found it a bit unsettling. You will know it when you see it. And then it comes back to the question of, who is this for? Because I think for adult fans it falls short. And for kids, maybe it goes a little bit too far. So it's in that weird middle ground. You know, if you don't know Pokemon, you'll understand what's going on and the world is well presented. But it might leave you with some more questions than answers. And if you're hoping that this is the big budget Pokemon film you've waited for, you'll probably go away disappointed. I don't think this is what you've waited for. It feels at times a bit like a fan film. And for something with such a high price tag, at times it feels a little bit cheap. Let's talk about where the budget did go, because the creatures and the character design of the Pokemon in general, they look amazing in this. They're very, very fantastical, but also look realistic. It looks like they took basis off some real life animals, and it really works very well. There's one scene in particular where one of our characters is soaking wet, and it looks real. It's a very tricky thing to do, but it looks fantastic. Now I will say, sometimes they're not blended so well. That's a minor nitpick. In their environment they look a little bit iffy, and I don't think the actors always knew where to look. Like the interaction with their Pokemon at times looks a little bit odd. Just doesn't really work. And speaking of the acting in general in this movie, it's not great. It might be, Star Wars prequel syndrome where it's fake environments, fake characters, and you just get a wooden performance. I don't entirely know. I also had no idea Bill Nighy was in this. I just found that hilarious and kind of ludicrous, the idea of him talking about Pokemon. You just know he was off camera going like, how do I say this shit? The human stuff in general is the least interesting aspect of the movie, and unfortunately, it's the focus. Pikachu and his partner, that stuff is pretty well done, but it takes a back seat to the plot, and the plot just isn't that intriguing. It's your standard mystery plot fare, really. And I'm not going to give too much away, because I don't want to ruin it or anything. Especially because one of the trailers came out for this, and it revealed a character that was included in this, and really, I think that would have been much better if they kept it hidden. First half of this film with the detective elements, I was actually pretty invested in. But then towards the second half, it goes into a more conspiracy kind of territory. Takes us outside of the city. And I wasn't as interested in that. It's not as intriguing. They throw a lot of plot twists at us as well. Some are more effective than others, but it felt like overkill to me. It just felt like they were trying to mask a pretty thin story with a lot of twists. And I don't even know if the last twist even makes much sense. What's strange is normally I'm not for just fan service for fan service sake, but I feel like they could have done a bit more of it here. There's characters could have been brought in a bit more, and things we recognise could have been brought into the film more easily, and it's just not there. There's Pokeballs are barely in it, a little bit. There's a few Pokemon battles. After a while it feels like they're just repeating the same Pokemon we saw earlier in the film, and that can be a bit disappointing. It feels like they could have made it closer to the Pokemon we know. I think that was always the problem with making Detective Pikachu first. They could have made something that was close to the Pokemon we all know and love, and didn't. And in some ways that's admirable, and it probably makes it more accessible to a wider audience. But I think overall, if you didn't love Pokemon before this, you're probably not going to love them anymore after seeing the movie. Everyone is saying that this film broke the video game curse, and I guess, but that was a pretty low bar, and I think this film just about gets over it. It feels like, in general, this film did set the bar low, and I would have been much more impressed if it set the bar high and missed. Because what we got is sort of a competent and acceptable movie, but I just wanted a bit more from it. If you're a Pokemon fan, you'll probably enjoy seeing the characters being brought to life, but it's probably not the movie you've been waiting for. If you're not a Pokemon fan, you'll understand what's happening, the world is fairly accessible, and you'll enjoy the characters as well. Because they're cute and adorable, and that can't be understated. That's what they're selling this movie on, essentially. And I guess that's important too, so based on those criteria, it is worth the price of admission, but personally, I didn't get much out of this movie that I didn't get out of just watching the trailer for the movie. I hope that at some point we get something that's a bit closer to the classic Pokemon. And I feel like if this movie was a bit more focused, it could have been a lot better, because what we have is not great, not bad, it's just fine. Pika Pika. Pika